So what do we have for you guys this time? Well, the underlying energy that's coming through is the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands can indicate a fire sign, so that would be an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. As always, the court cards can indicate a male or a female, or whichever sex you identify with and whichever type of relationship you want to be in. They're just energies. And the energy of this knight, he's sometimes said to be the fastest moving knight out of all the knights. He has a lot of passion, a lot of drive, just lots and lots of energy. So sometimes he can come galloping into your life. And I'm saying he because it's a knight, but like I said, it's a he or a she. This person can come galloping into your life at quite some speed, like they'll just show up out of nowhere. Now, for some of you, this is going to indicate maybe a person that could be younger than you that you're having to deal with. But I don't always see ages in the court cards. I know some readers do, but I don't always. I see this as someone coming in very quickly, coming out of nowhere, Pisces. For those of you that are single, it may be now that somebody could just show up out of nowhere and you're surprised by this person. That's very exciting, very passionate as well. For those of you that are in relationships, maybe this is a turn, a change. Maybe you're already involved with the fire sign or someone that has that kind of energy, or your partner now is exhibiting that kind of energy, or you may be yourself. I mean, as always, the meanings, they can apply to you or to someone that you're involved with. So what we may have here is that you've started the new year and you have all this passion and this drive and this even sexual energy. I mean, that can often be seen, in, especially in this night, especially because it is an underlying energy. That's why it says to me that for some of you, this may be your own energy, that you're starting off the new year full of this passion that you want to do something different with your love life. I mean, I know I've seen the last few readings for Pisces and things haven't been great, but this is a real change of direction, especially with this knight showing up first. And the card that's at the heart of the reading, and that's like the problem or the circumstance, that I think is a kind of throwback to what you've been through, but it's not necessarily the situation that you're in right now. And that's the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, we can see this woman sat up in bed. She's stressed out. There's these swords all around the room, especially around the window. And it looks like the way she's holding herself, she looks distressed. This talks about anxiety, feeling stressed out, having a lot of thoughts that are consuming us. And like I said, I feel like this is very much not indicative of your situation that you're in right now. But I'm going to get to those cards in a moment. Being at the heart of your reading, it says that you may be worried about if you've met someone like this, you've met someone like the Knight of Wands that's coming into your life. There might be stress related to not knowing what to do about him, like not knowing. There might be fear. If you've been alone for a long time, there can be fears of getting involved with someone after such a long time. If you're in a relationship, there may be concerns about how to make it work with your partner, that if there's this change, you're feeling this change of direction. I mean, no matter how bad things get for us, human beings are essentially creatures of habit. As much as we desire change and we want new people and new things in our life, at our core, we are not always very comfortable with change. So that can cause these feelings of anxiety as well. But what the Nine of Swords is saying to you is things are not as bad as they seem, even if you are having problems or you're experiencing issues. And a lot of these do seem to be, I mean, what I usually say when the Nine of Swords comes up is that there may be something real that's causing you anxiety or stress in your life, but the Nine of Swords is telling you things are not as bad as they seem. But that is especially true in your reading because it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem that there is actually something physically wrong around you. Or if there is, it's become bigger and worse by going over and over it in your mind. The beautiful thing, especially in this tarot deck, is the little owl that we see sitting on the other side of the swords and the outside on the windowsill. That owl, for me anyway, represents wisdom. So you have the wisdom to navigate your way through this, to see what is really happening and to find the answers that you need. Also, there's a lot of activity happening in Pisces at the moment, with Mars there, and we've still got Mercury retrograde, and there's loads of things happening. So things might actually feel worse than they are. And I can imagine if things have been bad and then you have this Knight of Wands energy coming in, it can be a little disorienting. So be kind to yourself, Pisces. The past energy that we have coming up for you is the Hermit. The Hermit can often talk about withdrawing to go and find like answers or solutions to things. Now, this may be something that a lot of you have done, even if you're in a relationship. We don't always need to just go off by ourselves, like physically go off by ourselves. Sometimes we can withdraw into ourselves to find answers, and that can be the energy of the Hermit as well. But what the Hermit always finds is that the power to change a situation, or that the power lies within him. The power to change within the situation already lies within him. I mean, we see this old man here. He doesn't seem to have much on him except for the light, and the light shows that there is guidance there. That he knows his way. He doesn't need anything else. All he needs is the knowledge that he has. And if we look around him, especially in this tarot deck, there's not anything else around. It's not like he's going anywhere else. He's on this path and the lantern's guiding him, but he can find the answers. So many of you may have just gone through this time of reflection, trying to figure out how you feel, what you think, what you want. And like I said, that's if you've been in a relationship, single, separated, whatever your relationship status. It feels like, Pisces, you've gone through this stage of trying to figure out what it is that you want from your love life. And I hope the answer that you came up with was love, because you have the Lovers card in your present. So the energy of the Lovers card is about choice. It's about a choice, about following that which you love, or so following your heart or your mind, like what logic, what is it that you think you should do? But the beauty of this card is that there is the option for love here. There is the choice of love. So what are you going to do? Are you going to let your fears overcome you, Pisces, and, pick that which you think, well, maybe this is better, or maybe this is how I won't get hurt if I follow this path? Or do you pick love? And I know I'm making it sound like an easy choice, but I get that it isn't. Sometimes it can be scary to decide to be with someone. Relationships can be frightening, and they're not always easy because you have to try to make it work, and there's compromise needed and choices and decisions. When I first looked at the reading, I was like thinking, there's a Lovers card there and there's such nice cards. Why is Pisces got the Nine of Swords at the center? But I can understand it. It can be very disorienting. If you've come through the time of the Hermit, imagine you're this old man, then you have this kind of passion and excitement of the Knight of Wands coming in. Then you have love. You have like the promise of love shown to you. And that can be, as much as every single one of us, and I mean every single one of us, myself included, as much as we all want love or, desire love in our lives, we all come with baggage. We all have our own idea of what love should be. And like I said, human beings don't always do great with change. And then the card that we have coming up as the future energy is the Four of Pentacles. And for me, I think the Four of Pentacles here is a warning rather than a promise. There are so many futures open to us. Every decision we make, every action that we take, it changes the future, the path that we're on. The Four of Pentacles here, it sits directly under the Nine of Swords. And if you look at her, she has her arms wrapped around her, holding herself. And we see this man here, he has his arms in like a similar way, but he's kind of holding on to pentacles. He's holding on to his pentacles, his 4 pentacles, not wanting to let go. And it is known as the Miser card, the 4 pentacles. And I know that sounds horrible, but the way I see it is that if you're trying to make this decision right now of what you want, the future energy is going to indicate to you where that decision comes from, because we always think of what the outcome will be, or, where will this take me? If I choose love, where will it take me? And some of you are going to be afraid to open up, to want to let go of what it is that you have. Like, we can be afraid to love. We can be afraid to get hurt. For some of you that are in relationships, it may be that you're afraid to lose the person that you're with. So you'll be clinging on to that relationship. Other way, I always feel like this card speaks of not really having trust. We're afraid of losing that which we value, which may be ourselves. It may be the person that we love. It may be, just we don't want to get hurt. And that's fair enough. But that's a risk that we always run whenever we make ourselves vulnerable and offer up our hearts to someone. So yes, treasure what you have. Treasure those things that mean something to you, but don't cling on so tightly that you don't allow love in, and that you don't guard your heart so completely that you don't allow yourself to feel as much love as you would like to. And I know you want to. I know you do want to open up, because then we have the Six of Pentacles coming up as the crowning energy. And this is kind of what you want. This is your goal going into the second half of January. This is where we end this 2-week period, more or less. And the Six of Pentacles is about give and take. It's the Charity card. And I like the kind of symmetry of the Lovers on one side of the Four of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles on the other side. Because if we look at the guy in, look at the man in the Four of Pentacles holding onto his pentacles. This guy's the opposite. He seems to be freely weighing up the pentacles. And we actually see 4 pentacles kind of being thrown like this, hands, outreached hands, grabbing the 4 pentacles. And I feel like this is telling you that you don't have to hold on so tightly. The Six of Pentacles says it better than I ever could, in that if you give freely, if you give that love now, don't be afraid to show that love, to give that love, because you'll only have more. The more love you give, the more love you will receive, and the more you'll have to give. Because when we love someone, it doesn't cost us. Well, in a relationship, and I kind of feel like there is this kind of balance happening. Those 3 cards at the bottom with the Lovers, the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles. And the Lovers is the number 6 as well. So it's a card of balance. I think a lot of you are going to have the opportunity to love openly and to receive love. And I know that's what you're afraid of, that you won't receive the love. Maybe a lot of you have given love in the past, or you've been a lot alone so long that you just don't trust that anymore. And if we look at the Oracle card that comes up for you, the first Oracle card from the Romance Angels deck is Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. You've been waiting for this, Pisces. You've been waiting for love to come in, and don't squander it because you don't trust it. Obviously, put your own safety first, always. I'm not asking anyone to be reckless or to go into situations that would be dangerous for you. I mean, only you would know what your situation is. But if it's just about worrying about something, then you know this. In your heart of hearts, you know what's real and what isn't. You know where you really stand with someone. But have a look at the cards. I mean, you are cups. Cups are about feelings. Pisces are all about emotions and feelings. And this may be the influence of Mars being in Pisces. That's where you have that Knight of Wands energy coming in. But we don't actually have any cups in your spread. So it's like maybe you're trying not to be overly emotional and to get so emotionally involved. But that's actually just leading to you being more stressed out. So you don't need that. The Nine of Swords, I think, out of all the kind of cards that are going to be about stress, I don't mind the Nine of Swords because it always tells me that I'm making more of a situation than it is. Like, it's not as bad as it really is. And then the card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck is number 1, Yang. And I'm going to read you the essential meaning and the relationship message from the book. Essential meanings. The masculine principle of movement and creative activity. The power to make things happen. Taking action. Relationship message. Circumstances are supporting action on your part. It's okay to make the first move. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand. In matters of the heart, there is movement toward your highest good. So go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air, and now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Take the lead. This card ties in so wonderfully with the Knight of Wands, and I feel like this is very much about, if you've been afraid, if you've felt afraid, to just go forward. Like, don't be passive, I guess is what the message is here. With the Knight of Wands at the beginning, we have Yang as the Oracle card, and it's telling you, you don't have to allow your love life to happen to you. If you've got an opportunity like the Lovers coming up, then be an active participant in it. Make that decision. What is it that you want now? And when you make that decision, there can be that hesitancy. You may be afraid, like the Four of Pentacles. But as much as you may be, there may be fears coming up for you, especially with the Nine of Swords right at the heart of everything there. The Four of Pentacles is still a stable card. And the Six of Pentacles is balance and stability as well. So this is a stable environment for you to kind of progress in. Yes, take your time. Pentacles can be slow, but Pentacles are also very supportive and they offer stability. It just depends on how badly you want it, Pisces. But it is, love is there for you if you want it. And a lot of you may be thinking, well, no one's showing up, or, you know, there's nothing coming up here. But if you're in a relationship, please take on the energy of the Knight of Wands or of Yang and move forward and make that relationship what you want it to be. You can take the lead. It's okay for you to take the lead at this time. Also, if you've had your eye on someone, or, you know, you've got feelings about getting back with someone or going back to someone, these are all things that you can now actively decide what you want to do, especially with the Lover's energy there. The other thing I would say is that Mercury is retrograde until around the 8th. So the first week of January, just over, and then is in shadow until that, more or less the end of this phase that I'm reading for, until like mid-January. So take that time to reflect and to decide what you do, but use that time to make a plan of action, as it were, not a plan of, you know, well, I wonder if this is going to happen, or you can take the lead now. You can take the lead.